It's time to ready yourself. We're going to be talking about that on episode 114 of The Relaxed Male. Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, a podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Bryan, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies. Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Male. All right, so this week we're talking about how to ready yourself for success. How do you get yourself into a frame of mind so that you actually do become successful in life and in all the stuff that you do? But before we do, want to thank the folks who are just now getting their attention drawn over to the Relaxed Male and the show that we are putting on. This is a show where we help the typical guy get rid of the nice guy that is living inside their head. We help kick them to the curb, get those guys to step into their masculinity and start living their life on their terms. And it's a lot easier said than done, but it is very much possible and can be done with a lot of diligent work. So we're going to be talking about one of the things you need to do is actually get yourself ready. And it's much like, you got to dress for success. You've got to be able to think and act as if you are going to be successful. How are you going to act? How are you going to be? How are you going to respond to the different problems that come about? Because you can either have like scarcity mindset or you can have an abundant mindset. And those things there can cause a huge difference in variables or in results. So if you're got a scarcity mindset and you're thinking anything you do is not going to turn out right, nothing you do is going to be of any good, any use, anything like that, then you're probably you don't have enough in your life, then you're going to be running into problems. Yet if you have an abundant life mindset and you see the resources that are available to you at that moment, you have a lot more options. You can still be in the same scenario, same circumstances, but you're going to have more success with an abundant mindset than you are with somebody who can't see past what they don't have. There's a lot of different things you want to do to prepare yourself for success, but the biggest one is visualizing and imagining yourself as what would be like if you were successful, if you wanted to become successful. And the origins of where this topic came from is actually from my son, Jaden. If you haven't ever caught him, he's actually on a previous episode. That episode is episode 59. So you can actually jump in there and have a listen to what Jaden's thoughts are as how young men today are looking at stuff, and great episode. But anyhow, Jaden has recently went off and he got himself, it was used, but still he got himself a new couch. Now it's just a couch, you would think. It's just something you park your butt on and you don't put much thought into it. Well, except for the fact that he got a used couch that was fairly nice. And this has actually been a catalyst for him making steps to become more successful in life, getting things done in his life that he's been talking about doing for a while, but has not quite taken the steps until he bought this couch. And that is because when you get nicer things, and it doesn't have to be, like I said, his is used. It's not a brand spanking new couch. It's just a nicer couch than what he used to have. He used to have just a futon that was pretty much falling apart, and it did the job of keeping your tail end off the ground. But at the same time, it's a futon. It's just kind of a ratty, there it is. It's not anything big, spectacular. But now he has something that he has a little bit of pride in. And when it comes to being able to improve yourself, prove your standing, you need to have pride in who you are, pride in what you do, pride in what you're going to accomplish. So you need to visualize where you are in life. Where are you going to be, next week, next year, down the road. Now, it doesn't mean that that's all going to happen exactly as you imagine, but it's going to improve your chances of becoming a more successful person. So you want to dress for success. If you have a nice suit, beautiful. If you don't have a nice suit, then you might want to start trying to save up for a nice suit. Now, you may not be able to get a fully tailored suit. That would be, the extra sauce on top of this, on top of the sundae. But, you can get yourself a nice suit and then take it to a tailor and get it tailored to your fit and get a better fit on that suit instead of it draping on you like it's, like you're wearing your dad's jacket or something. And to just do that little step, just that little tidbit of a change to up your game, just a hair bit, changes your attitude, changes your mindset, changes how you look at the world. So you want to look at what is it that you want to have in your future. What is that big project? Me, I want to start making $100,000 a month. What does that entail? And I have actually got to sit down and look and decide and imagine and visualize what does it look like to make $100,000 a year in my coaching practice, or $100,000 a month in my coaching practice. To be able to do that, $100,000 a year. Get my months, years, and days confused. $100,000 a year is one of those. Is just the first step. I know, because once I get 100,000, I'm going to try to make 500,000. And once I get 500,000, I'm going to aim for that million, and that million to 10 million, that 10 million to 100 million. I want to try to see if I can make it to to those different levels. And am I? I don't know. Won't know until I try. Got to try to be able to find out, right? What is it? What does a person with $100,000 a year do? How do they live? How do they look? How do they look at the world? How do they perceive money in itself? And you would think, well, oh no, they just, they don't care about money. They throw around and spend on different stuff. Well, no, that's not actually true, because even when you're rich, you're not getting rid of problems. You're not living an easy life at 100,000. You're not actually living the easy life with $100 million a year. Each level has their own set of problems, has their own set of challenges and mindsets that you have to be able to overcome. So you're going to have those limiting beliefs no matter what level you're on. They're just going to slightly change with the scale of what you're earning. That's why fat people think when they become thin, their world is better. Yet when they lose all the weight, they still are struggling with different problems, because being fat doesn't correct the problem. Being fat doesn't make you feel better. Being skinny doesn't make you feel better. Being poor doesn't make you feel better. Being rich doesn't make you feel better. Having that nicer car doesn't make you feel better. What you have to do is you have to work on what's on your mind. You have to be able to do the thought work to be able to make that step to that next level of success that you want. So to be able to ready yourself, you need to start imagining and thinking and ruminating over what is it like to have, for my instance, $100,000 a year. I'll eventually get to $100,000 a month, but right now, just working on getting $100,000 made in a year. When that happens, what does that look like? Well, it means I've got to be able to have, 40 coaching clients. I've got to have my group coaching sessions. The mastermind groups need to be full. And I would be nice if I had a waiting list, had people who were coming along, talking to me about getting enrolled and getting signed on to the different programs. How do you get the word out? How do you get people interested in you? Well, okay, that's going to be means of doing something that is called talking. I got to get out there. I got to start talking to people. I start trying to get little bit of PR going on and get people noticing me, coming in and being curious about what it is I do so I can actually turn around and help them. Well, you've got to find groups of people to be able to do that. I might end up having to do some little articles for some of the local newspapers and share those out so that people can, know that there's this men's coach that's in Western Oklahoma that is helping men around the world become the better men, become the men that their families and their society and their cities and states and countries need. They need those strong masculine men. So what do I need to do? Those are things that I have to think of. What does it look like when I make $100,000? Well, it looks like that I am at the house. I am sitting in front of the computer and I have a day scheduled. I have my day laid out. I've got to know that when I wake up, there's 2 hours of exercise and just me time that I want to work on. And from there, then I know that from 8 to 11, I've got a set of people who are going to be needing who I'll be talking to. I'll have a set of clients that I talk to on Mondays and a set of people I talk to on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the mornings and in the evenings, I've got a group, the group meets, and the Brotherhood of Men is coming together and they're all helping each other, and we're taking massive action to take massive strides into whatever world that they are wanting to realize. So I have had time. I've sat down. I've thought of these things. What would it look like? Well, I would be wearing, some nice polo shirt, and I probably would still be wearing a lot of jeans, but at the same time, I know I would have in my closet several pairs of dress pants, some nice slacks, maybe some cargo pants, or, things like that, and have some wilderness gear. I would be able to go out and spend time with people in the environments that I want to spend time with, and to be able to bring more people in. Type of car would I drive? Well, I'd probably still be driving the same Mazda that I have right now. It's just because, well, one, it's got to get paid off before I can do anything else. But also, once that's paid off, then I can go off and I can probably go off and pick up a pickup that I've been wanting to get for a while. And from there, I can start saving and amassing a nest egg so that I can, when I'm 80 or 85, 90 years old, I may not be able to actually work and generate money. So I have something to fall back on, something that I can make sure that my wife has the ability to continue living, her way, be able to set aside money so that we can get, our fence around the house repaired, get maybe even set up enough money so that I can go in, maybe the land rush in Texas is done and over with, and I can go in there and I can buy some property and do it fairly inexpensively. Maybe people in California will turn their butts around, and people from California who move to Texas will turn around and move back to California, and I can buy up some decent ranch land and have some hunting land and all that. And there's a lot of thoughts that go into that. You want to look at what you want to accomplish. Allow yourself to dream. Dreaming is big. It's not something dumb and stupid. The only time that dreaming is dumb and stupid is when you just dream. Are you considered a dreamer? If you are, dude, run. Start making changes to what's going on, because a dreamer is just a guy who does that. They just dreams. You want to be a doer. You don't want to be known as a dreamer. You dream up the big stuff, but then you go after it. You start trying to accomplish those big things. Now, a lot of people want to have the thoughts that they're being fake. And no, you're going to be viewed as a fake if you view yourself as a fake. Now, if you're out there, you're living life and you're acting the part of being somebody who makes $100,000 a year or somebody who makes $1 million a year, doesn't mean that you're having to spend crap tons of money. No, you can act like you make $100,000 a year, or act like you make $100 million a year. You can act like that. Acting like it doesn't mean you're throwing money left and right. No, because people who make $100 million a year, they still are saving. They just are doing it on a grander scale. So if you're making $100,000 a year and you're used to living on 50, and so you've decided I'm going to take the other $50,000, that extra that I am making, I'm going to put that into a savings account. And there you go. You start living like a rich person. You might sit down. If you're not sure how a rich person actually acts, or how they look at money and how they do, how they live their life, find someone. You can probably figure out real quick who in your neighborhood even is a millionaire. They probably have $1 million worth of assets that they have collected together, and you could talk to them and see what their mindset is and find out how they act, how they look at money, and you start applying those. That helps out tremendously. To go take a successful person, somebody who you view to be successful, take them out and talk to them over coffee or buy them lunch. Be willing to invest in that time. And a lot of guys, especially broke people, are going, but they're the ones with all the money. They should be buying me food. No, you're wanting an exchange of value. All right. You want value from them. So provide value to them by buying the meal. If you take them out to lunch or take them out to supper, buy their coffee. You're the one giving an exchange of value. They're giving you knowledge. You're paying for them. And that's a good example of somebody with a scarcity mindset when they go, dude, I can't afford that. I can't take him out to meal. I barely got $20 to give it for supper, Well, then is it worth going a little bit hungry, not eating 2 Big Macs, but eating, going and getting a Whopper Junior for, instead of going out and eating what you normally do to gain the knowledge that you want? Because when people look at you, and if you feel fake, they're going to perceive you as fake. You're going to act fake. But if you start acting like you are somebody who's $100 million, you're going to start bringing and drawing the energy that is needed to be able to make $100,000. Now, a lot of people also worry, what's everybody else going to think of? What are they going to think of you? Who cares? Dude, really, it's not important what other people think of you. Okay? What, your parents are going to sit there and go, oh, I can't believe you're acting like that. You're not that big. Now, you may have parents who do that. You may have friends who criticize you for looking better and improving yourself. And if that's the case, that's fine. That's their thoughts. That's their own emotions. They're more than likely what they're doing is they're projecting their shortcomings upon you. They're seeing your successes that you're making, those small little steps that are leading to a massive action, as, dude, I could have been doing that, but I haven't. I've been wanting to sit here in my little comfortable couch, playing video games and having a beer instead of taking steps to grow a business, to become successful. How dare you do something that I've wanted to do? And that's a lot of what they think. A lot of the time, the criticisms we get is nothing to do with who we are. It has everything to do with who the person doing the criticism is. And so they're throwing their own self-loathing out on you so that they don't have to feel so bad. So their reactions to your success are just nothing more than a reflection of their shortcomings. Get your mind wrapped around that. And get your mind wrapped around the fact that you can become successful if you want to be successful. Remember, you have plenty of money for everything you truly want. You can bring in as much money as you truly want to bring in. So if you don't want to bring in $100,000 a year and you only want to bring in $30,000 a year, you're only going to bring in $30,000 a year. If you really, and I have a good example of that, because whenever I turned 30, I wanted to be making $30,000 a year. Well, I didn't quite make it at 30. It took me until about 33 to really start making over $30,000 a year. And why was that? Because at first, I still viewed myself as somebody who was just barely getting by. I had to start actually looking at myself as a person who made $30,000 a year. I made that proclamation. I said it to the world. I'm 30 years old. I need to be making $30,000 a year. That was just the bare minimum. And from there, it has continued to grow. I have continually viewed myself more and more successful. So I have been able to bring more and more money in each year. Now, am I at $100,000 yet? No, I'm not even 3/4 of the way, but I am getting there. I will be making $100,000 by next year. Set yourself up for those thoughts. Get your way of thinking around to what you want to be, and your skills will actually grow. You will draw in the needed tests so that you are able to develop the skills needed to make whatever it is that you're actually after. You grow the skills that are needed. So every time you come across a learning situation, also known as, a lot of people like to call them failures, but they are actually just situations where you had a learning moment. And so those learning moments allow you to handle the pressure and the responsibility to have the success you want. If you're only making $50,000 a year and all of a sudden you start making $100,000 a year, you're not going to know what to do with yourself. You're still going to have the spending habits of somebody with $50,000. You're not going to be able to save that money. You will blow through that extra money no time flat, because your mind is still set at your barometric thermostat, or your internal financial thermostat is set to $50,000. If you go over that, it's much like an air conditioner. The moment you get too hot in the house, the air conditioner comes on and cools you back down to that 50,000 line. So if you suddenly started making $100,000, your internal air conditioner is going to kick on and is going to get rid of that extra money. You'll be throwing it away, whether you realize it or not. You'll be getting rid of that money. You'll buy something stupid just to get that money off the books, because you have such a anxiety about having that type of money. You don't believe you're worth that $100,000. So you're not going to get an overnight success. It is a matter of making the steps. Can you handle $50,000 a year? Yeah. Okay. How about $60,000 a year? Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe 55. All right. Let's get there. Now let's take the step to 60. Can I do 70? No. Let's set it at 60 a little bit longer. Try it again. 70, 75. Oh, we got 75, and I'm a little weirded out by that, but okay, I can push through. And eventually you can get the skills and the thoughts and the means of thinking properly so that you can actually become that successful person that you want. You will grow your skills. Now, the other thing that you want to know is that when you become successful, you're going to have to pay attention to what your friends are like. Show me your friends. I'll show you your future. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most intentional time with, as Jim Rohn says. So your friends who like living a $30,000 a year lifestyle are going to fade away. They're not going to leave you. Some may decide that emotional turbulence that you create inside you don't create, but they have about you becoming successful will actually push them away. And so you're going to have to, some friends you will actually have to say goodbye to. And it can be sad, and it can be a bit anguish inducing. A lot of anxiety will be created by that. But if you are able to process those emotions, process the thoughts that you are having, and do the proper thought work when that happens, you can be okay with wishing them well on their life, and you will be bringing in newer friends who are $100,000 people. You'll bring in new friends who are $150,000 a year people, and you will be able to work with them. And as you continue to grow and meet up with their standards, your standards are going to change, and y'all will become even more successful. That's one of the great things about masterminds, and like the Brotherhood of Men, that allows for people to become better, stronger, because we're not pushing each other down. We are making sure we lift each other up. So with that, guys, I want to thank y'all very much for listening. If this, you found anything on this episode that did you favors, helped you out, changed something inside of you, made you think, made you open your eyes, share it out. Share it with your friends, your family. If you know somebody who is struggling and why you want to help them, and they're just, they want to become $100,000 a year people, yet they're stuck at a $30,000 level and they just want to sit around on the couch and do nothing, then this may be the podcast episode that they need to listen to understand why you are stretching out ahead of them. You can share that out. Take all podcast apps these days usually have a share button. Hit that share button, put it in the text message, send it to them, share it out onto Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all the other platforms out there that you're on, because I'm available out there. So just look me up, tag me in it. I would love to start the conversation. If you have any comments, questions, you can go to relaxedmale.com/114 and be able to actually leave a comment there. I'll respond. I don't have a problem talking to people through the comments. It's great to be able to help people change their mindsets, change how they view the world so that they can become successful. And when you change your mindsets, change your world, you actually are getting rid of that nice guy. You're taking that nice guy, kicking him out, telling him, dude, I am living my life on my terms. I am not going to cower to what somebody else wants me to do, because it's not helping me. It's not helping anybody else. It's not helping my family. So with that, guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank y'all again for listening. We'll talk to y'all next week. Until then, bye.